Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 250,000 subscribers. And I'm going to say this again. Now is not the time to unsubscribe. It's the time to subscribe and make sure that you share this with friends, because I assure you, the next 4 years plus are going to be very tumultuous. And here's going to be a place that you're going to get nothing but the unfiltered truth. Now, this morning, breaking news, not more than 45 minutes or so ago, I started getting a flurry of phone calls and emails and so on. And why? Well, because this morning, Judge Juan Merchan, and you may remember Judge Juan Merchan, he's the judge that's on the Manhattan District Attorney case, that's the 34 criminal convictions, issued a stay on that case. All right? Now, I want to start by saying that the stay is for a week. They moved it from what was supposed to be today, the 12th, to the 19th. And I want to show you and walk you through, because it's amazing how many of these journalists or the bookers for television shows want to know my opinion on Judge Merchan's decision. And I say to them, first of all, I have no interest in coming on your show and talking about it. I have no interest in providing a response to Judge Juan Merchan or this case. I, like 41 other people, 41, were all subpoenaed witnesses, non-party witnesses to the case. This case, despite however the media wants to make it, is not Michael Cohen versus Donald Trump. It's the people of the state of New York versus Donald J. Trump. That's what it is. So why am I going to sit here and comment about Judge Juan Merchan's decision to grant what the District Attorney of New York put forth, and Emile Beauvais went ahead and joined in that, which we're going to talk about in a second. And look, I want to show you the email correspondence, because I think that's the easiest way to explain this. And I want to start with the first email that went out, believe it or not, on Sunday. Yes, they all work on weekends as well, from Matt Colangelo. Matt Colangelo is with the DA's office. And he writes, "Dear Justice Merchan, we're writing to advise the court on Friday. Defendant asked the people, right, Trump's people, to agree to a stay of these proceedings in order to provide time to review and consider a number of arguments based on the impact of this proceeding from the result of the presidential election. Defendant's forthcoming certification as president-elect on January 6, 2025, and his inauguration on January 20th, 2025. In the alternative, defense represented that they intend to file a motion on Monday, November 11th, to stay all proceedings before this court. And so what happens? The people agree that these are unprecedented circumstances, and that the arguments raised by defense counsel in correspondence to the people on Friday require careful consideration to ensure that any further steps in this proceeding appropriately balance the competing interests of, one, a jury verdict of guilt following the trial, two, the office of the presidency. Now, according to the people, respectfully request that the court adjourn the upcoming scheduled date to afford people time to assess these recent developments, and set November 19th as the deadline for the people to advise the court regarding our view of appropriate steps going forward." All right. Let me say this. He's right. He's right that this is an unprecedented case. Nobody else would ever, one, get this, two, even be able to ask it, because think of it. What's the odds that the person who's there to be sentenced has now been elected the 47th president of the United States of America? Talk about unprecedented. That it is. All right. Let's look at what Trump said in the past about Judge Merchan's daughter. All right. For example, here's one of his tweets. Judge Juan Merchan is totally compromised and should be removed from this Trump non-case immediately. His daughter Lauren is a rabid Trump hater who has admitted to having conversations with her father about me, and yet he gagged me. She worked for crooked Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, and other radical leftists who campaign on getting Trump and fundraise off the Biden indictments, including this witch hunt which her father presides over, a total conflict and attacking Biden's political opponent through the courts. Former DA Cy Vance refused to bring this case, as did all federal agencies, including elections. Now, let me turn around and say this, all right? Donald Trump, despite all of these emails and all of the inaccuracies in that email or that post, has been successful in every single turn in terms of the delay. And it's an absolute inaccurate statement about what he said about Cy Vance. Cy Vance didn't turn around and say that there's no case here, which is why I'm not bringing it. Cy Vance elected not to run for another term as DA and did not want to bind Alvin Bragg, the incoming DA who won, to his lawsuit. And so he was going to allow him to do it on his own. Now, I want to show you another clip of Trump talking about, for example, the gag order, because what he's done is he's continuously attacked Judge Maran, despite the fact that Maran has granted Trump every single thing that he and his attorneys have asked for. Show the clip.
There's no case here, and yet the judge has gagged me, and I'm not allowed to talk about, I guess, his total conflict. The judge is totally It's totally conflicted, and you ought to take a look at it. And I'm not supposed to be talking about it, but I am allowed to say that the judge has a conflict that like nobody's ever had before. You ought to take a look at it. He's taken away my constitutional right to speak. I was in Miami this weekend, and reporters are asking me questions, the same questions like you're asking me, and I have to say I have a gag order, I can't speak about it. Never happened before, ever. Number one. Number two, it's a fake trial. They have no case, and it's been absolutely proven now. They have no case whatsoever. This is Alvin Bragg doing it for political reasons for Biden. This is a Biden trial. He's a crooked president. Now, it just came out, Columbia just canceled their commencement. Axios.
Okay. Like I said, Judge Juan Merchan has actually presided over this case professionally. There's no violations, no ethics. This wasn't done by the Biden administration, nor was it done by Alvin Bragg as a political hit job. The case was the case. It went before 12 independent jurors. They found based upon the information and the testimony by all 42 or 41 witnesses, they made their determination, plain and simple. We're going to get into the ultimate sentencing after I show you Emile Beauvais' email in regard to this. President Trump, this is from Emile Beauvais, President Trump joins Danny's request to stay the existing scheduled dates, including the dates for a decision on the pending presidential immunity motion and sentencing. There are strong reasons for the requested stay and eventual dismissal of the case in the interest of justice under the United States Supreme Court decision in Trump versus the United States and the Presidential Transition Act of 1963, 3 U.S.C. 102 note. Special counsel's office recently sought and obtained the same stay relief in the District of Columbia, and they are reportedly considering dismissing both of their prosecutions. But the important part is here at the bottom. All right. If that would assist the court in evaluating the importance of a complete stay while Danny decides on their positions regarding this dismissal, that is warranted here. Respectfully submitted, Emile Beauvais. All righty. Let me go one step further here. All right. There's no great legal theory that's here. We have something that's very, very specific. You talk about the Presidential Immunity Act, which, by the way, doesn't really have any effect upon this specific case. I do want to then turn around and say this on a personal level, and this is not a new statement from me. It's something that I have said many times over. I never thought that Donald Trump was going to be incarcerated. In fact, you've heard me say, I don't think he should be. Why? At that time, he was former president of the United States, and I thought it was very debasing to the former president or to the office of the presidency. When you have, in America, you have a former president that's being jailed. Plus, I was more concerned about what he may say to people inside Remember, I always made the joke about, he would trade nuclear secrets for a bag of tuna and a book of stamps. So nothing I'm saying now is different than before. And I don't believe, especially now, as president-elect, that Judge Merchan will have any choice other than to turn around and to say, the decision is the decision. You can't go back in time. There's 34 criminal counts, but there will be no sentencing. If anything, maybe they'll hit him with a fine, maybe, which I don't think they even will do that. I think they push it off till after the 4 years, at which point in time, let me say this, he'll be 82 plus years of age. Seriously? At that point, when I was away in Otisville, we had one guy there. He was the oldest of all. He was 82 years old. It was a crying shame. We had an 80-year-old guy, too. It was horrible. It was horrible to see them there. And neither of these two guys should have been there either, not at the age of 80 plus. And I'm going to stand the same thing here. If they want to give him, I don't know, some work detail, put him out on the highway to pick up garbage, fine. It doesn't change the ultimate decision that there were 34 counts of guilt. Plain and simple. That stays on the record regardless. And this notion by Emile Beauvais that Judge Merchan can dismiss the case. How do you dismiss a case that's already been decided? It just doesn't make any sense. So lastly, here's the final email from Steve Sahovsky, who's Judge Juan Merchan's law clerk, that says, the joint application for stay of the current deadlines, including decision on defendant's CPL 330.30 motion until November 19, 2024, is granted. As per the people's request, the people are to file with the court off calendar your view of appropriate steps going forward. Please make such filing no later than 10 a.m. on the requested date. Please file a copy of this correspondence, including Mr. Beauvais' email, on the court docket first thing Tuesday, right? Best, Steve. Like I said, I received countless phone calls and text messages and so on, asking me if I would come and talk about it. What's there to talk about? Let's wait till the 19th. I hate it when you have all of these pundits, and so many have been wrong all across the board. So sit back, wait. Let's see what happens, all right? And I stand with the point that I have been saying all along, that especially now, what would Merchan be able to do to the president-elect? Even with a case like this, are you really going to jail him? Come on, seriously? You know that's never going to happen. So why are we fooling ourselves? He's going to avoid accountability as it relates to sentencing, but not accountability as it relates to the charges. And that's why I keep saying, don't unsubscribe. Subscribe, share with friends, because it's here that you're going to get nothing but the truth. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.